Yo, what's up guys? AFC Adino here and welcome to a new video. Today, I want to talk about something. I was actually supposed to go to bed. It's New Year's Eve. The fireworks just ended and everything. And yeah, like I said, I was supposed to go to bed. But then I saw some awesome news on Discord, guys. And then I was logging in on PokeMMO just to check if it was true. And it is. As you guys can see behind my character, there's a freaking Zapdos. And if you look at my party, there's also an Articuno. And yeah, that's the big news I want to share with you guys, because Zapdos is now available. Articuno was already available with the Christmas event. Moltres will probably follow. So what I kind of want to do is I want to make a legendary tier list, ranking them from worst to best. And let's see where Zapdos fits in that category. Obviously, Suun is my favorite out of all those. But yeah, we're gonna do it from worst to best. And I'm just gonna talk a bit about the mods. I will update the tier list of OU soon as well. Once I got a bit more time. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video just because I got so excited that Zapdos is now finally playable. Like, I will talk about Zapdos in a bit. But yeah, let's start off, guys. By the way, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel, and especially subscribing, hitting that notification bell. And yeah, let me know in the comments how excited are you about Zapdos. Like, a lot of people have been fantasizing about this mod, being able to play it, and yeah, you can finally do it. This is definitely going to shake up the meta, guys. But like I said, I'll go into that in a bit. So there are currently 7 legendary Pokemon. I will open up the Pokedex there. Let's make sure it's not in front of the screen. There we go. And for our 7th spot, the worst legendary, I have it in my party, is gonna be Articuno. Articuno, guys. I want to get excited about this mod, but it just doesn't have anything going for it. It got the worst typing in the game. It has a dual weakness to Stealth Rock. And it's weak to every priority move in the game. Like, it doesn't resist any of the priority moves. Mach Punch is neutral because it's partly an ice type. Bullet Punch is super effective. Ice Shard is neutral because it's partly a flying type. Extreme Speed is always neutral, of course. Sucker Punch. So it's not gonna stop fighting types like Conkeldurr setting up. And his special attack is also pretty mediocre. As you guys can see, 95 compared to the others. His special defense is high, but to have this typing for a defensive Pokemon is not that great. And it's generation 5, so the move Freeze Dry doesn't exist yet. If it had Freeze Dry, it could have been a bit better. It does have access to Hurricane, but it always had that. And yeah, it's just not gonna do much. It's double weakness to rocks. Very little resistances in the game. If you put Articuno on your team, you're just griefing. Like honestly, then you're not trying to win. If you put Articuno on your team, then you're just gifting a free win to your opponent. Because this Pokemon is just so bad, guys. So it's good news for Shaman, because Shaman isn't the worst anymore. Talking about Shaman. 6th spot goes to, 6th place goes to Shaman. At least he's not the worst anymore. But again, there are non-legendary grass types that just outclass this guy. Offensively, Superior outclasses him. Defensively, Among Us outclasses him. That's all you need to say about this guy. Like, I've already dedicated the video onto this mod. It's definitely better in the lower tiers. I don't know if it's OU now. Is it OU? I heard it got banned from UU, so in OU it's not gonna be great. I did create a Ninetales video with Healing Wish, something I wanted to try on Shaman as well, since he has access to it. Because they have the same speed tier, so he's more likely to get up important Healing Wishes. But yeah, other than that, he just gets outclassed by the other grass types in the tier. So yeah, doesn't really have a function on many teams. So that's gonna be the 6th ranked legendary. And for the 5th spot, guys, for the 5th spot, it was a bit debating. He's not out yet, but I'm putting Moltres there. And Moltres is currently not available yet, but I'm pretty sure it will be soon. I just like how it happened with the other legendaries. And Moltres is actually not bad. It's actually pretty decent. It gets the pressure ability, doesn't get flame body like all the legendaries don't have their hidden ability. But hear me out, guys. Moltres is actually one of the Pokemon that can consistently deal with Volcarona, because Volcarona will rarely run Hidden Power Rock. Some do. But if Volcarona is not running Hidden Power Rock, then Moltres can completely wall Volcarona. Moltres also a great check into Scizor, one of the most OU defining Pokemon in the game, in PokeMMO. Yeah, access to Roost and Defog. So in that sense, he can be pretty decent in those kind of matchups. However, he does have the double weakness to Stealth Rock. If this is gonna be your defogger, then it's gonna be really tough keeping the rocks off the field if this is your defogger. Especially if the Stealth Rocker runs something like Toxic. It's gonna be really annoying, like a Garchomp with Dragon Tail or something. So that's why I didn't put it any higher. But it definitely has hit its niche. Like I said, it's a great scissor counter. Like, it deals with a lot of the steel types as well because of its fire typing. And obviously, him having that flying typing also means that he does have a resistance to fighting type moves, and obviously strong fire type moves as well, like Flamethrower, which is consistent. I think he gets Hurricane too, but unfortunately, maybe if he had Flame Body, I would put him higher than the next one. But yeah, pressure, it is nice for pressure stalling. But yeah, like I said, if you run pressure Moltres, defensive Moltres, then it's most likely going to be on a stall team. Offensively, I think Volcarona and Chandelure are better fire types. And like you have better flying types offensively as well. Like Dragonite, using Hurricane, those kind of mods. So in that sense, it's not super great, but it definitely has its juice. But that's the 5th spot. Now for the 4th spot, it's gonna be the other fire type. It's gonna be Entei. And yeah, Entei, guys, I've used it not very much, a few times, and it is definitely decent. They got dropped down to UU, but that's just because Suicune exists, and if your opponent has a Rotom Wash, it's really difficult to play if they have a bulky water type. You've seen a bunch of Gastrodons as well. But if your opponent doesn't have a bulky water type, this guy goes crazy. And even Rotom is gonna take a lot from a Choice Banded Entei. But like I said, there are just too many bulky water types out there, which make the job way too difficult to pull off. Like Arcanine can kind of do that job as well. So in that sense, yeah, it is okay. It definitely has its niche, but it is not consistent enough. Like Sacred Sword can also, Sacred Fire can also miss. Flare Blitz has recoil. Extreme Speed is definitely good, but there are better Extreme Speed users like Dragonite, for example, Lucario. They do that job in priority much better. And yeah, there are also a bunch of dragons. Like his coverage is not super great. I It does have access to Stone Edge, but it's a bit man. It's a lower accuracy move, so that's why I put it below the others. And on our third spot, guys, it's going to be Raichu, which is still OU, if I'm correct. Oh, it's actually got dropped down to underused as well. Okay, Raichu actually still pretty decent in this meta. I think people are kind of still sleeping on him. Just for the fact that it's an offensive meta, Raichu typically outspeeds most things. So if you play a Raichu into a Smurf team, for example, Raichu can be really good because the only thing that speed ties with Raichu is going to be the Starmie, but Raichu has the advantage in the Starmie matchup. And yeah, access to Hidden Power Rise Aura Sphere. But against defensive teams, it's a bit more difficult to pull off, especially if you run into stall. Raichu is also mostly played on... It's a tough one because you can also use Jolteon, which is faster than Raichu. But yeah, a bunch of ground types, of course, making it difficult. Mamoswine in the tier, and Chansey everywhere. So the issue with Raichu as well is, do I run the specs? And Raichu might get Volt Switch blocked. Do I run the Calm Mind? Then you might be lacking a move, because what do you want to run? Do you want to have Aura Sphere, or do you want to have Sub Calm Mind? It's a lot of things to think about. Do you run it with Volt Switch, without Volt Switch? It is just really tough, and there are also a bunch of Tyrannitars in the tier. So Raichu always in the threat of having to click Volt Switch, otherwise you're getting trapped. So in that sense, yeah, it is a bit rough for Raichu in that. And then Rotom Wash would probably be a bit more safe due to the bulk. Magnezone as well. Magnezone also having the trapping capability. But Raichu, definitely against offensive teams, can definitely be really good. But yeah, I did drop down. If we can look at the win rate real quick. We have to go to statistics. And let's go to last season. So let's see if Raichu even is on here. Probably really low. Here's Raichu. 47.6. I mean, it's a bit below 15, but it's way higher than Jolteon, like I said. It is just due to the bulk. But yeah, let's see. As you guys can see, he's mostly played on offensive teams, but it doesn't usually fit on those kind of teams as well. Like, fitting Raichu onto your team is tough as well, because Raichu is not really a Pokemon that's going to burst down an opponent, like nuke an opponent, unless you run Thunder. But he doesn't have like a strong base power move like Chandelure Overheat, those kind of things. Draco Meteor, which is something you kind of want in a special attacker. So, like, you're not really going to break a team with Raichu. Like, for Raichu to shine, you need it against... You need to weaken your opponents a bit so that Raichu can, with his speed, can pick off weakened opponents. That's the idea with him. But yeah, that's gonna be rank 3, and now the only two that are left are Zapdos and Suicune. And yes, guys, I am going to put Suicune. Suicune is going to be our rank 2 legendary in PokeMMO. Let me open up the Suicune thing. You guys know I've used Suicune a lot, and I think it's still S tier. It's really good. It's really good. Like, I cannot emphasize it enough. But here's the thing with Suicune. Like, I've explained the good parts, and I have made a full video on Suicune as well. Here's the thing with Suicune. In some matchups, it usually doesn't do anything for you. It is it is there to wall something, but sometimes it just doesn't do anything because you're trying to set up, and Breloom comes in, and yeah, you can have Ice Beam, but then you run into another Suicune. If you run into a defensive team and you run Ice Beam, then yeah, you have nothing really to force them out. You cannot really roar them, and the games are becoming really slow. Like Suicune is not something that is going to enable one of your teammates to do much. It is going to soak a few hits, maybe absorb a few status moves like Toxic, switching in on those, or trying to go for a late game sweep. But even for Suicune, you need some preparation to be able to sweep with Suicune. So in some games, it's just gonna take you really long before you can do something with Suicune. But Suicune cannot help one of your other teammates to do something because Suicune is not really breaking through stuff. It's gonna slowly weaken them and try to get off Scald Burns, and it's gonna take long. And sometimes you just don't get anywhere because they have a chance and they're gonna stall you out of your Scalds, that kind of stuff. But yeah, you've seen what my Suicune could do, like sweeping through a lot of games, keeping me in the game when I'm about to lose. So I'm not gonna talk about Suicune too much in this video. Like, I already showcased him enough. Let's go to our topic, Zapdos. And yeah, I want to dedicate this time to talk about Zapdos, guys. Zapdos. If we look at his base stats, it's not too impressive. Like a good special attack, but there are higher special attack. Speed is okay, but there are higher speeds. However, his unique electric flying typing is so freaking great. Because of the flying typing, he is immune to Earthquake, which is the only weakness of electric types. However, because of the flying type, he does gain other weaknesses like Rock and Ice. But Rock and Ice, like the Rock moves are not too common. You see some Pokemon use Rock as coverage. They're not gonna be stabbed. The only stab Pokemon you're gonna expect the Rock type move from is Tyranitar, which you can switch out against. And most all the Rock type moves are not 100% accurate. If we look at Ice type attacks, then there are only two main stab Ice physical users in the game: Weavile and Mamoswine. Those are the two most common ones, which you don't really face every game. However, there is a lot of Ice Beam coverage, but that Ice Beam coverage doesn't come off Ice types, so it's not gonna be stabbed. So in that sense, Zapdos could usually take one of those attacks as well. However, he gets so much back for it, because think about Superior, guys. How do people deal with Superior? They use stuff like Wheezing, they switch in their Blissey, but then Superior gets to +4, gets to +6, and your Blissey is going to take a huge chunk. You saw me using Mandibuzz with U-turn. However, Zapdos can do the same thing now. He can switch in on Leaf Storm, and he doesn't have the static ability in this game, but he does have the pressure ability. Guess what? If Zapdos switches in on a Leaf Storm from Superior, he's not gonna use one Leaf Storm, he's going to use 2 Leaf Storms. But meanwhile, Zapdos is resisting the attack, so it's not gonna do a lot of damage to you. And here's the other thing: because of the electric typing, Superior cannot use Glare on Zapdos. Meaning now you can use Volt Switch or U-turn to bring in something like Weavile to deal with the threat. However, Zapdos can also use Hurricane. Let's look at his moves. he actually has Hurricane the moment you catch him, but Hurricane should be a TM. Yes. So he has access to Hurricane. You can even play him on Rain now with Thunder. But yeah, his coverage is insane. He has access to Heat Wave. So now you can hit Steel types like Ferrothorn, Scizor, Metagross. Obviously, he has his electric typing. He can use Hidden Power to hit stuff like Gliscor, Garchomp. Like, there's a lot of coverage on the guy. You can use him as a defensive mon, and remember when we talked about Moltres? Now Zapdos also has the resistance to Bullet Punch due to his electric typing. He also is a resistance to fighting type moves, which is one of the most common offensive typings in the game. You typically, to have a good balanced team, you need a fighting resist. Like, Zapdos is so freaking good for balance right now. Obviously, you can definitely fit it on a stall team as well, but you will rarely see this on hyper offense because Zapdos, he doesn't set up. Sure, you can use specs that are stronger specs users, because his speed is not amazing. It's not amazing. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. And like I said, he doesn't have any setup moves for hyper offense. So, you know, then you would need to run it with a Life Orb or specs or something. But yeah, you might as well use a Dragonite with a Life Orb and a mixed set. So in that sense, like his hyper offense is already so freaking centralized in this game. Like, if you play 10 games, then 7 out of those games are most likely against hyper offensive teams. That's how crazy this meta is, and you rarely run into balance, but this is really going to help the balanced playstyle. Like, Zapdos can be a defogger, it can be a pivot for you, it can also be one of your main damage dealers, because still 125 base power on special attack is still really good, especially when you put Hurricane behind it, or when you put Thunderbolt even behind it. You can also run annoying sets like Discharge on a defensive Zapdos to get paralysis off. Heat Wave can also burn. You can also use Toxic, of course. You can even be really annoying with Protect and Substitute sets if you want to pressure stall, just like with Suicune. And here's the thing. I can bet you that you're going to see a lot of Suicune Zapdos scores, because they complement each other pretty well, in my opinion. Or especially unbalanced. You'll definitely see some stall teams with Zapdos as well. Like, Zapdos can definitely run on stall, but yeah, his best place is going to be unbalanced. That's what got me so excited, because like I said, I was supposed to go to bed because it's pretty late. It's already in the morning at the time. Like, it's almost 7 a.m. here. That's so crazy. But yeah, I really wanted to make this video. Talked really long about it, but yeah, we're just gonna leave it like this. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And like I said, let me know how excited you are about Zapdos. Maybe you don't like Zapdos being in the game at all, then let us know as well, and why. Join our Discord server if you guys like to talk more about this, and don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channel. I'm on my way to 6k subscribers. Would definitely like to hit it within a month, if possible, or 2 months. We'll see. 6k is a pretty cool milestone, I think. But yeah, and I hope to see you guys next time. Peace out.